Live stream Wednesday night, usual time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except the week I do the Rachel Ghost interview in the afternoon. We got Sticker Granddaughter here. Got some new subscribers. We're almost to 1,700, so we're climbing. Got the table all lined out with my new arrivals from Joe Hilton in New Hampshire. Came in on Monday. Few notes. Paul McCartney dancing up front at the Taylor Swift concert. That was pretty nifty. Mary McCartney was leading the way. What'd you think of that? I guess it was a Sunday, the same day that Tom Cruise and Prince Charles and Travis was on stage with his girlfriend. It must have been a heck of a show.
Travis
Kelce. Let's get it right. All right, let's talk about what I got on the table so I can take it off. We'll do the autographs last. Got this Beatles and Company from 3 Seville Road. That's hand signed by Peter Brown. You know Peter Brown, he was mentioned in the song The Ballad of John and Yoko. He was the best man at John's wedding to Yoko Ono. In the note he says, from September of 1970, he says, "Thank you for your letter of August 28th. Unfortunately, at the present time, the Beatles have no plans to appear live, and we will therefore be unable to help you. Yours sincerely, Peter Brown." But the weird thing about this says September 1970. The Beatles were already broke up officially by Paul McCartney in around May of 1970. And that's the envelope it was sent in. It has a stamp from Apple, 3 Seville Road, London, in late 1970 London. It's pretty cool. Sold today on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store for $288.
Ooh. Richard Sipinski said, "Hi Frank and Sticker family."
All right, how you doing, Richard? Go right down the line here. We got you think it's the real autographs, but this is the secretaries in 63, 64 were trained, told by Brian Epstein you had to learn how to forge their autographs real quick because they couldn't keep up with the demand. So this is official Beatles fan club, probably from 1964 in the United States, and the secretaries learned to sign all their names. Perry Cox already told me this is a secretary's autographs. He did a pretty good job on Paul. You can see how they get pretty close. Ringo Starr is the hardest one for him to do.
Chris W. said hi.
How you doing, Chris? Just saw you at the store a little bit ago at the grocery store. Got this 1964-63 promo photo that the fan club gave out. Nimpex. That has something to do with Brian Epstein. Their headquarters in Monmouth Street, London. 8x10 glossy. All these fan club letters. This one's signed by Anne in 1967. Fan club memos that came in. Got these Yellow Submarine postcards that were official from 1968. You got Paul and Ringo, George and John, and the Yellow Submarine. Got this newsletter that's different than Beatles Monthly. It came out the summer of 1967. It's got great color photos of the Beatles at Shea Stadium. This is when they were trying to get that film together, and the Beatles went into the studio to redub some of the tracks because the live tracks were so bad.
Nicholas Woodall said, hi everyone.
How you doing, Nicholas? Got some new people in tonight.
New viewers.
You got Paul and Ringo backstage there at the Shea Stadium before they went on before 55,000 people. You got this United Artists Corporation letter that's hand signed by Maurice telling your tickets to A Hard Day's Night starring the Beatles. Please, under no circumstances will anybody be admitted without a ticket. This must have been for the premiere out in Hollywood. July 17th, 1964. That makes sense because the premiere was August 12th of 1964. Got all these hand signed, original hand signed by Frida Kelly, the official Beatles fan club secretary in London. First note says, sorry, I cannot give out any information on the Beatles' private lives. It must have been from about 1964. It says Sefton Park, Liverpool. That's when she was still working out of Liverpool. But then later she went to London. This is a later one, 1966. And it's signed by Frida Kelly. Dear Donna, thank you for your letter. Was very pleased to hear from you. The Beatles will be beginning shooting their new film sometime in the spring. I'm sorry, but I do not know what it will be about. And as you know, the Beatles never did a film after Help, so besides Magical Mystery Tour. So they had scripts and stuff, but they never did the another comedy film. And you got a 2-page note from Frida sending out to somebody in England. And she's saying, thank you for your letter. I'm pleased to hear from you. I'm sure it'll be difficult to find a bookseller that sells a book A Hard Day's Night because it was printed in 64. Somebody's trying already to find something that's out of print. 1968, February, that's dated. So those are all signed by Frida Kelly. Got 2 Beatle fan club cards. That looks like an early one from the United States, about 1964. It folds in the half, and they didn't write the name down on there, so it's nice that it's not wrote on. This one is from 1966, renewal of subscription from London. You got these. Got one of these up on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store. I got 2 of them. It's a free offer from 7-Up in 1965 to see the Beatles at White Sox Park in Chicago. They gave away 2,000 tickets. Jesus. So they neatly trimmed away the part that you sent away. They must have entered the contest, but these are in great shape. I saw this on Fab4 Collectibles when I pulled it up on Google. Pretty rare piece. That's everything but the big thing. Let's talk about the big thing. Let's clear the table.
Are these the big things?
This, yes. This sold, so this has to be somewhere out of the way. Rest of it gets cleared. All right, let's talk about these original autographs from 1965. This was the big thing that I negotiated with Joe Hilton about.
KRWD said, hi Frank.
How you doing, Rich? Here it is. This, what would that be? 5.5 by 4-inch autograph book that a policeman that escorted him from the airport to the Minneapolis St. Paul airport to the says he escorted him to the stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota on April 6th or on August 21st, of 1965 when they played in Minneapolis at the Metropolitan Stadium. It's in Bloomington, Minnesota. The policeman asked Paul McCartney if he would get him autographs for his sons who are fans. Paul agreed and gave my father the signed picture autographs and individual signatures in this autograph book. My father was not a fan of the Beatles music, but he said they were funny and he liked them. For some reason, my father gave the Beatles pictures to me and not my two older brothers. I soon became the most popular kid in grade school when I took them to school. Larry Lundberg. Here's the COAs about the autographs from Frank Casio. He did this in 2019. He's pretty much retired from authenticating Beatles autographs. He's the premier authenticator of Beatles autographs. He studied it for 40 years. He said the purpose of the letter is to serve the signatures of the four members as the Beatles. These signatures are found on 4 separate autograph pages, each measuring 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, and which have all autographed beautifully in blue ballpoint pen. The autographs were obtained August 21st, 1965, when the Beatles performed live in Minneapolis by a policeman who escorted the band. Beatle autograph sets from 1965 are relatively scarce and very desirable. I also got a COA from Paul Wayne at Trax UK. Pretty much says the same thing, and here it is, so I can clear the table. See if I can open this up with my white gloves. It says, signed August 21st, 1965, Bloomington, Minnesota, by all 4 Beatles. Is that pretty good there?
Yeah.
First page, Ringo, Beatles, he wrote, and then Ringo Starr.
All the way up. Yeah, that angle. Yeah, that's bad.
Look at that beautiful 4-inch autograph of Paul McCartney from 1965 when they were well protected. The only people that could ever get autographs were the stewardess on the planes or the policemen that escorted them or protected them. And wait till you see the next page. One of the best John Lennon autographs you'll ever see from the 1960s. And last but not least, George Harrison. Beautiful.
Stephen Saldo Execution said it's over for Richard Sipinsky.
It's over. Safe and sound what? Is that safe and sound in Texas?
No.
The other one.
Oh. Yeah, well, no comment to him. How you doing? Not sure who you are, but you get on everybody's screen. All right, let's go on. Let's put those autograph books out of sight. We don't have a sticker kid to mess with them today. Hallelujah. Is that the one that starts with V again?
Yeah. The badger.
All right, here we go. It's a couple notes. Got this, talked about this stereo, true stereo rarities on compact disc, and it's making me want to search out. I'm getting all the Dave Clark 5 and true stereo from 1971. There's a 2-album set in the United States, and then there's a single album put out in the United Kingdom. They only time they ever released 2 true stereo mixes of the Dave Clark 5. Dave Clark owns the masters, but he only releases mono versions of them now. But it's got great versions of Glad All Over and Everybody Knows and 19 Days and Live in the Sky. But it also has a Jerry and the Pacemakers doing Ferry Across the Merseys. So I'm going to search out and find me a true stereo of Jerry and the Pacemaker hits. And it's got a great Holly's true version, stereo version of On a Carousel on here. That's when Graham Nash was singing, and the Hollies were at their peak. On a Carousel.
Everyone like, comment, and subscribe, please. And then George Music for All Seasons said hello all, and KRWD said Dave Clark 5, good stuff.
Good stuff. So I bought the 2 greatest hits albums, and I bought the first Dave Clark 5 album where they have no instruments on the cover, the rare cover, and it's in the shrink, and it has a hype sticker for Bits and Pieces. So between Glad All Over and Bits and Pieces, they had 2 huge hits that were giving the Beatles a run for their money at that time. All right, a couple other notes. Joey Malone from Badfingers on the Happy Together tour this year, and he's out there doing his best. 125 pounds or whatever he weighs. He does the 4 Badfinger songs. Come and Get It, No Matter What, Baby Blue, and I'm missing one, Day After Day. Donny Osmond, this goes out to, is it Brad Parnell? How would you like Donny Osmond at the Palace a couple nights ago on Sunday? We had a lady at the store who went and she said it was really good.
KRWD said, Frank, do you know what you want for them yet?
What, the autographs? They're up on sale on my eBay, STICKERMANIA 2853. I got 2 people interested, one from Japan, one from the United States, through YouTube, and they're up for $15,900. Butcher covers.
No, he's asking something different.
Oh, Dave Clark 5.
Oh, the Dave Clark 5. They're going to be near mint, and I don't know, they'll all be around close to $100 a piece when I get them, because they're all near mint from the 70s, and the no instrument covers from 64. All right, butcher covers. I made an offer today on the East Coast Stereo butcher cover number 2, and I got it for $1,250. The butcher covers are almost impossible to get now from the East Coast. They're running out, or the conditions are really rough when I find them. The West Coast on the internet outnumber the East Coast by about 10 to 1 now. Reel tapes. I forgot to show that last time. Factory reel tapes.
Daniel Castillo said, how much was the turquoise Zeppelin?
The turquoise Zeppelin sold for $3,777 the other day. Somebody bought 3 Led Zeppelins from me, I think. Oh no, that was by itself.
That was different,
Yeah,
That one
another guy
myself.
bought 2 Led Zeppelin. I sold 5 Led Zeppelin albums in 24 hours, but a man bought the turquoise for $37.77. He asked me a question about it. He wanted to know if it was the first pressing, and I thought, well, here's another guy just going to send me messages and not really be interested. And 5 minutes later, he bought it and paid for it. So he said that's one he's been searching out. I think he lives in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
And you said you probably didn't think about going after anymore, did you?
I almost was going to go after one the other day, but it wasn't in a good enough shape. It's condition. Here's my factory reel-to-reels. I forgot to show the last couple streams. You got the Meet the Beatles from about 1966 when it was on factory reel-to-reel. This is a 3 3/4 speed. That means there's not much tape on there. Then you got a Sgt. Pepper. It's a 7.5 inches per second from the late 60s on Ampex. Pretty nice shape. Show you the tape. See, it's a lot more tape because it goes at twice the speed. You got a Let It Be from 1970, also at 7.5, and it has the insert from You milled away to get the catalog for Ampax stereo tapes. You got the Jimi Hendrix Axis Bold as Love at 7.5 inches per second. Really nice shape. A psychedelic cover. And this is a new one I just got in from the Michael Stearns collection. I sold a couple of his Rolling Stones picture sleeves earlier today. Sly and the Family Stone. This is the only way you can get true stereo mixes of their greatest hits is on this reel-to-reel, and the quadraphonic LP was the only time they had this true stereo mixes. That's my factory reel-to-reels I have right now.
Daniel Castillo said, I'm currently traveling in Germany, but couldn't miss your live.
Way to go, Daniel. Thanks for checking out. Alright, any more notes here? We'll just go into showing lots of things.
Is Germany fun?
RAM, talking about those factory reel-to-reel tapes. I got 2 Paul McCartney Rams coming in from 1971. They're a pretty rare reel tape to find, and I found 2 of them in 24 hours. That was pretty strange. I got a Dale Shannon 7-inch record coming in near mint condition. And from 1963, it has the first Beatles cover that was ever released in the United States. What song do you think that Dale Shannon did of the Beatles? And the Beatles, when they first started touring in the United Kingdom, they opened for Dale Shannon. There's a picture of the Beatles with Dale Shannon. The song Dale Shannon covered, and it went in the charts in the United States in 1963, was From Me to You.
Daniel Castillo said it's 5 a.m. here, and he said he just had some fun today.
All right. Way to go, Daniel.
And clock radio.
Clock Radio said, from me to you.
Yep, that is the answer. Way to go, Clock Radio. You don't win anything, but good job.
Appreciate the try.
So when that Peter Brown signed Apple memo was shortly after this Let It Be was released in the United Kingdom. This is a first issue 1970 with the red apple in the laminated cover, minus to you from England. Has the original patent inner sleeve. And then the Hey Jude is the album that came out in 1970 that Alan Klein did of the Beatles. This is the Sweden version, export version, with a laminated thin cover. And it's got the misspellings, I think I showed it last time, it's got the misspellings paperback writer. I don't know if you can see this, but it says paperback writer in 3 different words. Let's see if I can show it. And Revolutions has an S on it. So there's 2 mistakes on that label. And you know that the Beatles officially broke up when Paul McCartney released McCartney 2 weeks before Let It Be, and he put out to the press that the Beatles were no longer more. John Lennon really broke them up first, but Paul's the one officially announced it. Let's talk about these butcher covers, and then I'll go on to some other things. Got the last one that I peeled, the mono. That's at $899 on my eBay store. And I got my next one coming in the next couple days. And maybe I'll have it peeled by Saturday. And I got the stereo coming that I'll have to be really careful on peeling it. Remember, when we get to 2,000 subscribers, we're a little more than 300 away. We're going to give away this stereo butcher cover I practiced on East Coast that was really tough to get off. It must have been in a basement for many years.
Nova's Nick said Paul put the exclamation mark on it.
Talking about when they
About
broke up.
breaking up, yes. Thank you, Nova Snip. All right, butcher covers. Let's talk about the first albums released. First things from the Beatles and the Rolling Stones in North America. This is the first album, and this is the first picture sleeve. You got the Beatlemania. This is the first issue.
Hold on, you got 2 butcher cover questions real quick. Do the butcher cover
Yeah.
questions.
Clock Radio said, after all these years of peeling butcher covers, of all the butcher covers in the world, what percentage would you think have been peeled the most?
At this point, peeled at this point.
What percentage of the East Coast and the West Coast?
Probably.
Yeah, there's been more East Coast peeled because you can steam peel them. The West Coast are much
But like,
tougher.
what percentage do you think are done?
Oh, out of the 50,000, I would say my guess is that half of them have been peeled.
And then DJ Morano said, how many butcher covers are in circulation?
I just said 50,000,
Okay.
50 to 60,000.
Well, he asked that before. He
Alright.
said that.
So we're good. And then now we can keep going on now. We'll do
So you got this first issue that has the litho in Canada and the right print on the bottom. This was November of 1963. The Capitol Records believed in the Beatles in Canada where they didn't in the United States. Because you had Dave Dexter in the United States that kept saying the Beatles would never sell. But they had Paul White in Canada that was a Beatles fan from the beginning.
Daniel Casilio said, I was just watching a documentary of the Beatles but couldn't understand it.
Because he's in Germany.
Oh.
Was it in Germany?
You didn't get it either, did you?
So that's a real nice mono first issue with, it says XEX-447 on side 1 and XEX-448 with no dash, no number after it. So that's the first issue from November of 1963. Before Meet the Beatles and Introducing the Beatles. So somebody put up a Meet the Beatles the other day, and it was really beautiful shape, a mono, but they didn't realize without the copyright, a BMI and ASCAP is worth a lot more, and I snapped it up really quick. So I got one coming a lot nicer than this that will have no publishing rights after the songs like this one does. This says, I Want to Hold Your Hand, the 224, the time, and John Lennon, Paul McCartney. The first 20,000 records issued of Meet the Beatles had no publishing rights after the titles.
Oh my gosh.
Makes them a lot rarer, 10 times rarer, 20 times rarer.
That's crazy.
All right, Rolling Stones. The first picture sleeve, just got this in today, ever released in North America, Not Fade Away. Real fragile sleeve. It's got, if you can believe this, it's got I Want to Be Your Man by Lennon and McCartney on the B-side. I could have had a trivia question on that. It's only in very good condition, but a real tough sleeve to get. How young the Rolling Stones and Brian Jones are at that time. This was the second sleeve that I showed before, released in the United States. Picture sleeve, it's all over now. And on the back it says, start a Rolling Stones fan club. You had to write to Patricia at London Records in New York City. There's pictures of the Rolling Stones in 1964 when they first came to America, hanging out in New York City. Any questions before I keep going?
No, sir.
The what?
No, sir.
No, sir. Got the thermos here again to show. I didn't bring the lunchbox today. I'm afraid to touch that perfect lunchbox and thermos I have. I have 15 watchers on the lunchbox and thermos that I have up for $3,900. This is a thermos only. You can get for $550. It's not as nice a shape as that near mint lunchbox and thermos that I have locked up in my bank vault. Got this in today. Got 3 box sets. Before I show the box sets, we sold another set of Remco dolls today. These never last long. I bet I've sold 40 different sets of Remco dolls in the last 5 years. John's a hard body, Ringo's hard body. George is a soft rubber body. Show the difference of it. It's got a little different bottoms. See how one's shiny and one's not. And Paul is a hard body doll. Sold today for $279. Alright, got this box set in today. Factory sealed from 2019 of the Beatles singles collection. And Andrew from Polygram Auction says that these singles, a lot of them are made from the master tapes, or cut from the master tapes.
Daniel Castillo asks, did you watch Mike's latest announcement?
About what? Whose latest announcement?
Mike.
Mike's latest announcement. I don't get that.
Was that the one with the divorce? That wasn't.
I thought it was a Mike irregular.
Oh, yeah, Mike from the In Groove. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Mike from the In Groove, probably the best record store in the United States. Yeah, I watched that whole announcement. It was pretty sad. But the weird thing about it is they've been putting out live streams of Angel and Mike for the last year when they were separated or divorced, and they were acting like they were a bickering couple, so I don't quite understand that. Mike is the one that I outbid on the Nimbus Supercut. He wanted it real bad, and he made a $5,000 offer, and I made a $5,500 offer, and I finished Chad Cassim's butcher cover to obtain that sealed Nimbus Supercut. The Bowling Green gentleman that bought my Led Zeppelin turquoise says he has a Nimbus Supercut of Band on the Run from Paul McCartney. I didn't know there was a Nimbus Supercut of Band on the Run.
Daniel Castillo said that's good. They're on good terms.
That they still joke around. Yeah. But I thought it was strange that Mike on his his interview said it was over. Twice he kind of pledged to the audience he needed money to buy something from his store to pay alimony. I thought that was a little bit weird. So I guess Angel is getting quite a bit. The Beatles singles collection. It even has the double A-side of the 1990s release, Free as a Bird and Real Love. I've sold this several times before. And you got the 2014 mono box set. I have a gentleman, David, that bought that today. But I got 2 of these in. I have another one in another room. Let's see if we can get this out one more time and show it. That sleeve, outer sleeve, is really fragile. I don't know if you're watching or not, David. But this is your set. Got the silico packs in it, and the foam, and the book is still sealed, and Mono Masters is still sealed at the end, and the rest of them are all in resealable bags.
Daniel Castillo said Mike makes some risky purchases.
Mike has a back room that I've never seen with so many high-end items that he doesn't even know what's in those boxes. I don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
I buy some big items, but I don't buy whole collections like he buys. I'm sure he's got, his stereo equipment is a lot more higher end than mine, but he's got a lot of inventory. So that's a Sgt. Pepper's. They asked about the Magical Mystery Tour. I think I have that in the other room. They're all in factory resealable bags. All right, let's put that away. That is very fragile. Show the,
Was it this one?
yeah. So David wanted to know if the Magical Mystery Tour, you want me to open it up and show them, because most times when they get this one from 2014, the book won't be attached anymore. And I opened it up and showed them the book was still attached in the middle. And the record was flat and had no scratches. He wanted to know that, and then he bought it right away. But he bought the whole set, a little bit at a time. Magical Mystery Tour from 2014, and mixed cut from the analog master tapes at Abbey Road Studios. And we got the stereo box set from 2012. I showed in the last one.
Do the Daniel real quick.
Dan Castillo says best to buy those records separately.
Oh, well, as far as the price? Yeah, but the only problem is on that, the 2014 mono box set, they're in resealable bags, and the only way to Daniel to really get them in perfect shape is to buy the whole box that has never been played. When you buy the used copy in the resealable bag, you don't really know how much has been played, unless you're buying factory sealed 2014s. Let's show this. I didn't show this last time.
Cool.
That's pretty much what he said, so don't worry about it right now.
All right, let's see if I can get this off. This is a stereo box set that's all has Germany pressings on it. The hardest way to get the Beatles 2012 stereo box set. All digitally remastered by Sean McGee. Almost all these are factory sealed. This is in the 2014 mono box set. They didn't factory seal them like they did in this box set, and it says in real small print. All these say printed in the EU, which means Germany. So you got Please Please Me, a Germany pressing, sealed. You got a With the Beatles, Germany pressing, sealed. A Hard Day's Night, and still sealed. Got a Help, and still sealed. Printed in the EU. I was lucky I was able to come across this from a gentleman in Canada. You couldn't find a whole Germany pressed box set, I don't think, in the United States. Rubber Soul, factory sealed, printed in the EU. Revolver, printed in the EU. The White Album, not open, printed in the EU. Beatles for Sale, it's opened up. Doesn't have the hype stickers inside, but it does have a Germany pressing. Sgt. Pepper is opened up, but it still has the hype sticker. Magical Mystery Tour, still sealed. Yellow Submarine sealed, and Abbey Road, they opened it up. They played it once to record the reel-to-reel. It's a EU pressing. Let It Be is sealed. Past Masters 2-album set is sealed, and the book has been opened up. You can buy that complete box set on my STICKERMANIA 2853 store for $888.
KRWD wants to know, Frank, did you recently sell the Wings Band on the Run album?
I sold a sealed Band on the Run for $277. I sold both my one-hand clapping
And then Clock Radio says, how often do you sell near mint original mono US copies of Magic Mystery Tour?
Not very often, because I don't deal in the United States copies very much unless they're in the shrink or in perfect shape. I go after the Germany or the UK pressings. All right, we showed my 3 box sets. Let's talk a little bit about the Beach Boys. Sheet music and the Beach Boys. Somebody offered me $200 for my Beatles Christmas album from 1970. This is original with a small indentation, and it's still in the shrink. I said, $200? Sorry. You gotta come up with $300 for this. There's a lot of reproductions, but to find original that was sent out to a fan club member in 1970 is really tough. Somebody asked me about my sealed Abbey Road. They said, how do you know this is the original factory sealed, not a reseal, and will it have the Abbey Road album inside? I thought that was a pretty goofy question. It's got a factory breathe hole right there by John Lennon. Got the original price tag. It's a pasted on slick, which means it's a 3rd version. That's a probably an early 1970 pressing of Abbey Road from the USA. That's about the only way I ever mess with the United States pressings if they're in that kind of condition. Remember what I said, condition, condition, condition.
Just like practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice.
KRWD said, Frank, the Dave Clark 5 you spoke about, is that an instrumental album?
No. That's the, in 1971, they put out true stereo versions in the United States and United Kingdom. And the first Dave Clark 5 album was the one on Epic that has the Glad All Over and bits and pieces on it. Got this in today. This is pretty unique. Beach Boys Pocket Rockers factory sealed Fisher Price from 1988. It's got a little mini tape that plays, this little mini tape right here, plays Surfing Safari and Surfing USA. Never seen one of those before, still sealed in the package. Had a little player and a little clip that you must have, so you could take the music anywhere. But that's pretty unique. Pocket Rockers by Fisher Price. Got another Carl and the Passions there, Daniel, with an excellent Hardy played of the Pet Sounds. It seems like everybody that bought this album in 1972 was more interested in the first album, Carl and the Passions, and they didn't understand how great the pressing was of Pet Sounds.
DJ Marino, going with what we were talking about earlier, he said in real estate it's location, location, location.
Practice, practice, practice. You want to get to Carnegie Hall, real estate, location, location, location. Beatles, Led Zeppelin, or Rolling Stones, vinyl, vintage vinyl is condition, condition, condition. I'm going to be in Jeff J-Town tomorrow with Kevin at Kevin Records, and we're going to be the vinyl record detectives, and if you bring in your vintage Beatles vinyl, I will give you a valuation. Remember though, they made millions of all these pressings, that there's very few that are in great shape anymore. Here's a factory seal, 1967, Wild Honey by the Beach Boys. Even has the hype sticker for Darling on the shrink. No, it's on the actual cover, the hype sticker. Sold at Kmart, was discounted at $2.97. And Darling was one of the last songs the Beach Boys performed on their new documentary on Disney Plus. You got Carl Wilson singing "Darling" towards the end of the documentary.
Daniel Castillo said they made millions of Abbey Roads. Jim Morrison endorsed Wild Honey.
So he's saying Jim Morrison endorsed Wild Honey, and then he was talking about that they made millions of Abbey Roads, going with your theme that they made.
Yeah. Just because you have an Abbey Road or a White Elm or Sgt. Pepper from the 1960s doesn't make it valuable.
Just like you told me about all the fakes that they made in overseas, they got to a point where they just got good at it, where they knew how to make the covers look almost like
the Let It Be covers, all the counterfeits they introduced in the Beatles.
The combs, where you talk about the brushes that you've had before.
The what?
The brushes where they put the heads the wrong way, where you said the little combs that come in cause they're the white comb with the 4 heads on them. You know what I'm talking about, the little brush?
I'm not sure.
You said they used to make fake ones of them all the time.
So this is introducing the Beatles, where we're talking about counterfeits. There's millions of counterfeits of introducing the Beatles, but you got to have "Please Please Me" from version 2, and you got to have Beatles above the spindle hole to be original. See how the Beatles is above the spindle hole on both sides. All my other introducing the Beatles have sold. This is the only one that I have left. Go ahead. What's the question?
Moonbeam Sky said, I just picked up a decent mono US Magical Mystery Tour on eBay. It sounds great.
It won't sound as good as a 2014 made from the master tapes at Abbey Road Studios, but the mono mixes are better in the US than the stereo. The stereo had rechanneled fake stereo, and it wasn't very good. So somebody asked me about my 1999 Yellow Submarine. Was it on yellow vinyl or black vinyl? So I opened it up for them, and I do have a black vinyl pressing of the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. I thought they were all yellow vinyl, but I was proven wrong. It's a great way to hear the remixes done by Peter Hicks. Peter Coben and Paul Hicks, which Paul Hicks is the son of Tony Hicks from the Hollies. Great way to hear the remixes they did of all the Yellow Submarine songs that were in the movie. Another great remix album is the Sgt. Pepper from 2018. This is the 2 LP set that's got the second disc, has nothing but rehearsal tapes, outtakes of the Beatles when the Sgt. Pepper was more of a Sgt. Pepper Sessions. It was more of a rock album. Then they tamed it down for the final release. Great way to hear Sgt. Pepper in its infancy.
That's what I was talking about earlier. You said
the heads are in a different. The heads are all the way across when they're not original.
You said they make a lot of fake ones.
Yeah, a lot of things like that are fake, made by China or Japan. All right, talk about the reel-to-reels. We got 4 new posters that my son put up today. We got Ringo Starr and his all-star band from 1989 when he had Billy Preston and Clarence Clemens, Niels Lofgren, Rick Danko, Levon Helm, Dr. John. A lot of those people there are no longer with us. George Harrison, Best of Dark Horse, 1976 to 1989. The Great Paul Was Live poster there for his live album he had there. He actually, I don't think that's Martha, but he went back out there on Abbey Road to pose in that picture. But I think he's superimposed on here because they got the they got a different Volkswagen with a different license plate. So that must be an actual picture. I don't know if he's superimposed or not. You can see his shadow. I'd have to read about that. And then John Lennon legend, the best, very best of John Lennon. Got any questions? Gonna talk about sheet music.
Not yet.
Led Zeppelin. We haven't talked about Led Zeppelin. Rolling Stones. That's what I'll finish it off with. So I sold my another Some Girls today for $179. 1978 factory sealed with all the women that didn't give permission to be on there. Lucille Ball's estate's one that threw the biggest stink about it. Raquel Welch, Farrah Fawcett, Judy Garland's on here. And we got a 1965 Out of Our Heads.
Brad's in here now.
Brad Parnell, tell us about the Donny Osmond show.
Brad Parnell said, "Did you hear that Paul's grandson Arthur is dating Bill Gates' daughter Phoebe?"
I didn't know that. That's pretty amazing. Paul McCartney's grandson's dating
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates' granddaughter.
No, his
No daughter.
His daughter. Didn't know that. So you got the 1965 Rolling Stones mono in the shrink, and that's the only way that you would get that hype sticker, because that hype sticker was affixed to the shrink. As soon as you took that shrink off, that hype sticker was gone forever. That's almost 60 years old. You got the 1967 release, or it's either 66 or 67, Between the Buttons. One of you can tell me out there. This is the mono. Has a hype sticker affixed to the shrink. It says, Between the Buttons, the Rolling Stones, including Ruby Tuesday. They have a true stereo version of Ruby Tuesday on this CD. And it's amazing, the sound of Ruby Tuesday from the Rolling Stones when Brian Jones was really helping out the band.
Brad Parnell said Danny Osmond was amazing. He managed to put a 60-year career into a 2-hour show.
All right. There's somebody at the store, Debbie went to it and said it was really good.
Who's Debbie?
You know Debbie.
Debbie.
Oh, Dave's on my different one.
All right, we got this in today, or yesterday. Another Hot Rocks very first week issue with 11/18/71 Shelley in the dead wax on side 4. And what does that mean?
Made you suck.
It means there's outtakes for, they rushed release this and didn't realize they had outtakes for Brown Sugar and Wild Horses on side 4. And within 2 weeks, it was corrected. These are real rare to get. If you want to hear Brown Sugar and Wild Horses in a whole different way, you have to get this pressing. Eric Clapton's playing guitar on the Brown Sugar track.
Brad Parnell said, "I thought I saw someone that looked like one of your co-workers." I guess that was her.
Yep, she was there. She said she had a great time.
Period, I guess.
I can hardly remember seeing Donny Osmond when he was, I was 10 and he was 6 years old, and he came out and sang with Andy Williams. The day after the Beatles performed at the Indiana State Fair, they were there September 3rd of 1964, and Donny Osmond was there September 4th. And in the back of my brain, I can remember there were Beatle buttons and Beatles paraphernalia all over the ground there at the Indiana State Fair the day after. It was like a tornado had gone through the Indiana State Fair, by the Coliseum where the Beatles played. In the afternoon they played in the Coliseum, in the evening they played at the grandstands. 2 shows at Indianapolis. What's the other day that and from 1966 when they played 2 shows in the same day? Anybody know that out there?
July 4th.
In 2 different cities. August 21st. That's not it. Yeah, I think that is it.
Give him a chance to guess.
All right, see if they know the cities. They played 2 shows.
Okay. If they don't, then you can say it.
All right, that's my Rolling Stones new things. Led Zeppelin. This is that factory sealed UK of Into the Outdoor in the paper bag from 1976. It's my 1975 physical graffiti with the hype sticker. This has been opened up. I made an offer on a sealed one today. I think I offered $400, but they wanted $500, so we didn't make a deal. It was a factory sealed physical graffiti that said promotional not for sale sticker on the back. I didn't bring my Led Zeppelin 2 today. My in the shrink, my RLSS Monarch pressing that's in near mint condition. I have 10 watchers on eBay on that, and the price is firm at $3,900.
No one answered, but Beam Skies said lots of great stuff as always.
Thanks. The answer was, what were we talking about?
You said August 21st.
Oh yeah, the Beatles played. It rained out their show in Cincinnati, Crosley Field, so they had to perform on a Sunday, they had to perform at noon, and then they had to rush to St. Louis to play that evening. So they played 2 shows in 1966 in the same day. It was a rainy day, they were playing under tarp. George thought they were going to get electrocuted.
The Vinyl Frontier said, just visited Louisville and saw your booth at the South Louisville Antique Shops. Had to check you out, man.
All right, thanks. I got the booth on the front. When you come in there, a great big display case. Then I have a $5 booth over there on the side. Couple other notes. PB Thal will be proud of me. I bought a Houses of the Holy from the United Kingdom, a 1974 first press that has George Peckham in the dead wax. He says it's a better pressing than Robert Ludwig on the House of the Holy. So I got that coming. So PB Thal, I took your advice on that one. PB Thal, what's PB Thal's #1 album, Holy Grail, that he wants to obtain? You guys all know the answer to that. Sgt. Pepper Nimbus Supercut. Exile on Main Street. There was a sealed Germany first press that I bought today that's coming my way. Hopefully it has the Artesian logo in the dead wax. I'm not sure if the Germany first presses were made like the UK and the USA, and we'll find out. Perry Cox has my Paul McCartney autograph from Miami Hotel coming, and he's going to auction it off here in the next week. So that'll be interesting. He starts his auctions off low at 99 cents because he has the faith. He's such a trusted seller that he knows in the last couple minutes it's going to zoom up in price. I hope it does. Those are my notes. Sheet music. Where are we at on time?
It's 12:01. It's 12:01.
So when you get
Sheet music, and then we're done. If you got any other questions? I've seen a lot of Beatles sheet music go for huge prices, a couple $100 a piece in the last couple weeks on eBay. This is a Please Please Me from the United States, has an 85-cent price. And it says the Beatles on VJ Records 581. Pretty rare to get that, the first issue of Please Please Me. Got a Can't Buy Me Love from England. It's got the price of England price. Got a Hey Jude from the United States. First issue, Hey Jude sheet music. Came out on 1068, which was, you guys know what 1068 means? That means October of 1968.
The Clock Radio said, didn't eBay get rid of setting a reserve flat price?
Yeah, well, you have to pay extra to have a reserve met on auction. But Perry just starts it at 99 cents. He has so many followers, he he knows it isn't going to sell for 99 cents. He has heavy bidding on his items. He is the most trusted Beatles seller there is in the United States. Somebody gave me a compliment the other day, said I was almost right up there with Perry Cox. That was quite a compliment. That was Michael Stern, the one that wrote the Beatles price guide. Oh, I sold the Heart of Stone picture sleeve I showed you the other day, sold for $450. And the Satisfaction picture sleeve sold for $88.
DJ Moreno said, is that Beatles blue box set of singles in the back out of print?
That is out of print.
Yes.
All right, we got two more sheet music. Original Stairway to Heaven. How much money does Jimmy Page and Robert Plant make every year from Stairway to Heaven being played on radio? What's the answer to that one? This is an 8-page sheet, $1.50 it was back then, original. Stairway to Heaven from 1971. And we got a sheet music for Smells Like Teen Spirit by the biggest member of the 27 Club. Everybody wears Nirvana shirts in the grocery store. I always ask them, who's the lead singer of Nirvana? And nobody ever knows it.
Because they're teenagers.
Young teenagers that have Nirvana t-shirts. And I have to tell them it's Kurt Cobain. This has an 892, which had been August of 1992. It was $3.95. Sheet music for Smells Like Teen Spirit.
DJ Morano said they make a lot of money.
24, last count was $24 million a year comes in for Stairway Heaven being played every year. I would say that would pay for your house payment, Jimmy and Robert. All right, I think that's it from Louisville, Kentucky. I got a lot of things coming in. They'll have for next Wednesday. Hopefully I'll have a 1 or 2 butcher covers peeled for that stream. So make sure you join us in. Same bat channel, same bat time. And remember, I'm going to be in J-Town tomorrow from 6 to 9 at the, is it called the U-Turn bar? I had that all wrote down. And me and Kevin from Kevin Records, if you check out Kevin Records Facebook, it shows where it's at. And we're the vinyl record detectives, so bring in your, what you think is great condition albums, and I will give you a valuation. Thanks a lot.
Have a nice night.
See you.
Like it.